The first sight. The galaxy was calm, its stars shining in silence. Far beyond the borders of the known empires, patrol fleets moved slowly through the darkness. For many cycles, nothing unusual was found. Only empty space and cold signals of dead worlds, but then one day a shadow appeared. It began as a faint signal caught by a small outpost at the edge of alien territory. A young officer on duty thought it was a mistake. The readings showed something massive, too large to be a ship, too fast to be a drifting moon. At first they laughed, thinking the machine was broken, but the signal grew stronger, clearer, undeniable. The shape was moving, steady and direct, like a predator stalking prey. The sensors screamed warnings of size and power never recorded before. The young officer called his commander. The commander froze as he looked at the screen. The shadow was not a planet, not a moon, it was a ship. The alarms echoed through the outpost. The data spread to nearby fleets. Within hours, the news reached the Central Council of the Alien Alliance. They gathered in secret, fear in their eyes. They had heard of humans, distant rumors of a rising species, but no one thought they had such power. No one expected a ship like this. The monster ship moved with silence. Its engines glowed faint blue, swallowing the darkness. Its hull was black like obsidian. No banners, no signals, no request for peace. It gave nothing, only its presence. The stars seemed smaller beside it. Fleets that tried to scan deeper only found confusion. The readings made no sense. Some called it a weapon world. Some whispered it was alive. The alien commander of the nearest fleet was brave but cautious. He ordered 3 cruisers to follow the monster ship. They kept distance, their weapons armed. For hours they sent messages. Greetings, warnings, demands, but no answer came. Only the cold shadow drifting closer to the heart of the galaxy. Fear spread like fire. In the great council chamber, voices shouted over one another. Some claimed the humans had built a ship of war as a warning. Others said it was only one of many. The bravest suggested destroying it before it could move further. But no one dared give the final command. The monster ship showed no attack, yet it did not hide. It moved as if the galaxy itself belonged to it. One alien historian whispered to the council, "This is not a ship. This is a message." The words chilled them more than any weapon. Back in the patrol fleet, the 3 cruisers kept their eyes locked on the giant. The crew felt small. Their voices shook as they reported every move. One pilot muttered that the ship was staring back at them. Even without windows, it felt alive, it felt angry. When the monster ship passed a dead world, the sensors caught strange signals. The planet's crust cracked as if touched by some hidden force. The cruisers pulled back in panic. Their captains begged the council for orders, but the council remained silent, trapped by fear. Whispers spread through the lower ranks of alien society. Merchants in starports heard of the monster ship. Soldiers heard their commanders speaking in hushed voices. Farmers on distant colonies were told to stay indoors. Some believed it was a human weapon of revenge. Others thought it was a lost god returning from the void. For 7 nights, the galaxy watched. The monster ship grew closer to inhabited space. It did not slow, it did not answer. Each passing moment was like a drumbeat of dread. The council's unity began to break. Alliances weakened, pride and fear mixed like poison. One alien admiral finally spoke with courage. He said the galaxy was not ready for first contact of this kind. He said the humans had shown their hand without a word. He called the warship a floating terror. His words spread faster than the monster ship itself. In hidden corners of the galaxy, secret groups began preparing. Some prayed for peace, some sharpened weapons. Some whispered that surrender was the only chance. But no one could look away. No one could deny the truth. Humanity had arrived, not with words, but with the shadow of a monster ship. The outpost officer who first saw it never slept again. He kept staring at the star map, watching the slow advance. He told his crew that the galaxy would never be the same. His voice shook as he whispered, "This is the first sight of humanity." And across the stars, fear took root. The galaxy trembled at the unknown future. The monster ship kept moving, its silent presence heavier than any weapon. The first sight had begun, the whisper of terror. The galaxy was not quiet anymore. Whispers moved faster than ships, faster than light. Stories of the monster warship spread across every station, every colony, every council chamber. No one wanted to admit fear, but it was written on every face. Merchants at spaceports spoke in secret. They told each other that a shadow bigger than a city moved between stars. Some claimed it swallowed fleets whole. Others swore it carried weapons that could break worlds. Nobody had proof, but the stories grew. Each retelling added new terror. In the Great Alien Council, the leaders met again. Their chamber was filled with tension. No one trusted anyone. One leader shouted that humanity was too young to hold such power. Another whispered that maybe humanity was never weak at all. Maybe they only pretended until the time was right. The smaller empires panicked first. They had weak fleets, fragile worlds. They sent messages begging for unity. They wanted the council to build one great armada. But the larger empires sneered. They said the monster ship could not be real. They said the stories were made by cowards. Yet even they spoke in softer voices than before. On remote colonies, people prayed. Some prayed to gods, others to stars. A farmer told his children to look at the sky. He whispered that a new age had begun. His hands trembled. He feared what would come when the monster ship finally reached their worlds. Meanwhile, the 3 alien cruisers still followed the human warship from a distance. Their captains sent desperate updates. It does not answer, it does not stop. It only moves, one report said. Another spoke of strange sounds, like deep echoes inside their ships whenever the monster ship turned. The crews whispered that the warship was watching them, even if it had no eyes. One young officer aboard the lead cruiser made a mistake. He fired a warning shot into empty space near the warship. The light vanished before it could even touch the black hull. Swallowed like nothing, the crew screamed. The captain silenced the officer. His face was pale, he sent no report of this. He feared the council would order them to attack. Back in the council chamber, the arguments grew sharper. One proud emperor slammed his hand on the table. He shouted that the galaxy must destroy the human warship before it reached civilized space. But another counselor shook her head. She said this was suicide. She said one ship that moved with such confidence could not be alone. If one monster ship existed, then many might wait behind it. Whispers spread through military academies. Old veterans remembered ancient human wars. They told stories of humans who fought until their last breath, who built weapons not to scare but to win. Cadets listened in silence, their young hearts filled with both dread and awe. They wondered what kind of species could build a floating terror and then send it into the galaxy without a word. As days passed, small ships disappeared. Scout vessels sent near the warship stopped answering. No wreckage was found, no signals. They were simply gone. Panic grew. Some claimed the warship devoured them. Others said the humans took them prisoner. A few whispered that the crews had joined willingly, seduced by the power of the monster ship. Across alien cities, rumors spread like storms. Bars were filled with drunk voices telling wild tales.
The ship is alive, one said. It breathes. Another laughed bitterly.
It carries a sun in its heart. Some swore it was not built by humans but by an older, darker force, yet the message was the same. The galaxy was afraid. In the secret rooms of the council, one old historian spoke softly. He said the whispers were more dangerous than the ship itself. Fear could break the galaxy before the warship even fired a shot. His words were ignored. Pride and panic ruled stronger than wisdom. But among the common people, the whispers became truth. Children whispered to each other at night that humans were demons in flesh. Soldiers whispered in barracks that their weapons were useless. Leaders whispered to their closest guards that perhaps the age of their people was ending. The monster ship still did nothing. It did not fire, it did not slow, it only drifted with purpose. Yet its silence screamed louder than any weapon. The whispers of terror became the new heartbeat of the galaxy, and far away in the quiet command deck of the warship, a single human captain stood watching, his eyes cold, his hands steady. He heard no whispers, he only knew one truth. Humanity had finally entered the stage. The galaxy would never be the same. The human message, the galaxy waited in silence. Every fleet, every council, every colony held its breath. The monster ship had crossed into the first ring of populated stars. It had done nothing, only drifted forward like a shadow of doom. But the silence was worse than war. The alien council gathered once again, their chamber dark and heavy. Leaders argued until their voices broke. "We must act," one shouted. "We cannot wait." Another hissed back. "If we strike and fail, we doom us all," their words echoed. But no decision came. Fear chained them, then it happened. For the first time since its arrival, the monster ship spoke. No sound came from its hull. No radio wave could explain it. The message appeared inside every ship, every council chamber, every mind linked to a communicator. A voice, calm and deep, spoke in perfect galactic trade language. "We are humanity," the voice said. "This is first contact." The words were simple, yet they struck harder than weapons. Every officer froze at his console. Every soldier stopped mid-step. Every child listening to rumors turned pale. For the first time, the galaxy knew the ship was not a ghost. Not a myth, but real and alive with intent. The message continued. "We come not as prey, we come not as slaves. We come as survivors," the councils erupted. Some shouted that it was a lie. Some demanded to answer with fire. But others, quieter and older, listened carefully. They felt the weight of the words. Humanity had called themselves survivors, not conquerors, not rulers. But survivors on the lead alien cruiser. The crew trembled as the voice filled their ears. One young pilot whispered, "It sounds human." "But it feels like steel," another muttered. "No, it feels like a warning." Their captain wrote down the message word by word. His hand shaking, he knew this report would shake the council to its core. The message grew darker. "We do not seek your permission to exist," the voice said. "We do not bow to councils. We do not kneel to empires. We are humanity. We have endured fire and darkness, and we will endure still." Gasps filled chambers across the stars. The bravest leaders fell silent. Some felt rage, others felt terror, but all understood one thing. Humanity was not here to beg for a place. Humanity had already taken it in hidden meeting rooms. Spies and agents sent frantic reports. Some said the humans had declared war without saying the word. Others said it was a demand for respect, but the truth was clear. The galaxy was no longer safe in its illusions. A new power had spoken, and it did not fear them. Back aboard the monster ship, the human captain stood alone at the command table. His crew moved quietly, their eyes hard. They knew what the message meant. It was not an offer. It was a line drawn in the stars. They were not explorers with flowers. They were a people who carried scars deeper than any empire could imagine. In alien cities, panic broke out. Traders shut their stalls. Families hid inside. Soldiers lined the streets waiting for orders that never came. Rumors spread faster than fire. "The humans have come to claim the stars," some said. "The humans will burn us all," others cried. But deep inside many hearts, another whisper took root. "The humans cannot be stopped." The council tried to hide their fear. They ordered speeches of calm. Leaders told their people that everything was under control. But behind the walls, their hands shook. They argued about armies, weapons, alliances, yet no one dared to send a reply. The human message ended with silence, no demand, no threat, only words that stayed like a shadow in every mind. "We are humanity, remember this." After that, the monster ship moved again, slow and steady. Its engines glowed like a cold sun. The silence returned, but it was heavier than before. Every step forward of the warship felt like thunder. On the lead cruiser, the captain whispered to himself, "They did not come as guests, they came as destiny." His crew stared at him in silence. None dared to disagree, and so the galaxy waited once more. But the waiting felt worse now. The whispers of terror had turned into something sharper. They were no longer only afraid of the monster ship. They were afraid of the humans who spoke through it. The first words of humanity had been spoken, and the galaxy trembled. The test of fire. The galaxy could not hold its breath forever. The silence after the human message was worse than war. Fleets gathered. Generals argued, soldiers sharpened their weapons. The monster warship kept moving, slow and calm, as if it owned the stars. Finally, one empire broke. It was a proud and ancient race. They believed fear was weakness, their emperor shouted before the council. "If we allow this shadow to pass, all will think we are cowards." His words spread like fire. His fleets were already in motion. Hundreds of warships left their docks. They filled the sky with steel and fire. Their formation shone like a wall of stars. Every ship armed, every weapon primed. The galaxy watched as they moved to face the monster warship. The alien armada stopped in its path. Thousands of voices called across the void. "Turn back, identify yourself, leave this space," but the warship said nothing. Its dark hull reflected no signal. Its engines hummed like a sleeping beast. The alien admiral clenched his fists. His heart pounded. He thought of history. He thought of honor. Then he gave the order. "Fire!" The galaxy held its breath. Missiles burned across space. Energy beams cut the void. Torpedoes rained like falling stars. The sky lit up with a storm of destruction. A billion eyes watched from distant systems, hoping, praying when the fire cleared. The monster ship still moved untouched. Its black hull glowed faintly as if amused by the storm. The alien crew screamed in disbelief. Their weapons had done nothing. The admiral's face turned pale. His voice broke as he shouted. Again, wave after wave of fire poured against the human warship. Explosions painted the stars. Shock waves rolled across space. But the monster ship ignored it. It did not dodge, it did not shield, it simply endured. Then, for the first time, the warship answered. A single light pulsed from its side. A beam so thin, so clean, it looked harmless. It passed through the lead alien battleship. The battleship did not explode, it did not burn, it simply ceased to exist. Silent instant erased from reality. The alien armada froze. Fear crushed their courage. Pilots stared with wide eyes. Captains clutched their chairs, the admiral whispered. What have we done? The warship pulsed again. Another battleship vanished. No sound, no wreckage, no trace, just gone. The galaxy trembled. The floating terror had shown its fangs. Across the stars people screamed, some fainted, some prayed. Leaders in the council stood speechless. Their pride shattered, their lies broken. The monster ship had survived the storm of fire and answered with a whisper of death. The alien admiral wanted to retreat, but his honor would not let him. He gave one final order. All ships charge. The armada rushed forward like a wave of fire. Desperate, hopeless. The monster warship did not move. It unleashed its wrath. Lines of light cut across space. Whole squadrons vanished in silence. Cruisers crumbled without a scream. Destroyers blinked out like dying stars. In minutes, the proud armada was gone. Only 3 broken ships survived, their engines burning. Their crews screaming, the admiral was gone. His flagship erased like dust, the survivors drifted. Their voices filled with despair. They called for mercy. But the warship did not reply. The galaxy was silent again. Silent, but no longer uncertain. The test of fire had ended. The humans had not come weak. They had come with power greater than any empire. In the council chamber, no one spoke. Eyes were wide, hands shook. They understood now. Humanity had sent a message clearer than words. The monster ship could not be challenged. Not by fleets, not by armies, not by empires. Back aboard the human warship, the captain stood calm. His crew silent, their eyes hard. They did not cheer. They did not smile. They only watched the stars. For them it was not victory. It was necessity. The galaxy had tested humanity. And humanity had answered. The test of fire was over. The age of silence was gone. The galaxy trembled, waiting for what would come next. The shattered council. The council chamber was heavy with silence. The alien leaders sat in shadows, their faces pale. The news of the armada's destruction had arrived. It spread like fire through every world, and the galaxy trembled. The emperor who had demanded the attack was gone. His fleets erased, his pride turned to dust. The survivors told their story in broken voices. They spoke of light that erased ships like they never existed. They spoke of a warship that endured every storm and struck back with silence. The galaxy listened and fear grew. Inside the chamber, voices clashed. One leader shouted, "We must unite! We must build stronger fleets," another hissed. "Do you not understand? Fleets mean nothing against such power." A third slammed his fist. "If we bow, we lose our honor. If we fight, we lose our lives." The arguments grew louder, sharper. Leaders pointed fingers. Blame filled the room. Some claimed spies had failed. Others said engineers had grown lazy. A few whispered the darkest thought of all. Perhaps humanity was always stronger than us. The smaller empires begged for protection. They asked the larger ones to share fleets, to guard colonies, but the great empires refused. Their pride still heavy, their fear hidden behind arrogance. They spoke of new weapons, of untested machines, but their eyes betrayed them. In hidden corners of the chamber, secret deals were made. Some leaders spoke quietly, promising to surrender if humanity spared them. Others whispered about betrayal, planning to abandon allies when the time came. Unity was gone. The council that once ruled the stars was breaking. Outside the chamber, whispers filled the galaxy. Soldiers who once shouted about glory now sat in silence, holding their rifles like toys. Merchants closed trade routes, families left cities. Praying to hide in distant moons, children asked their parents why the stars felt colder. The parents had no answer. On distant colonies, protests began. Citizens shouted at governors, "Why did you anger the humans? Why did you call war upon us?" In some places, riots broke out. Soldiers fired into crowds. Blood stained the streets, fear turned into anger. And anger tore societies apart, but the humans did nothing. The monster warship did not move faster, did not fire again. It simply drifted calm, silent, like a storm waiting on the horizon. This silence crushed the council more than the battle had. One old historian stood in the chamber, his voice soft but clear. He said, "We thought first contact would be with words. We thought it would be with gifts, but humanity has shown us something else. They have shown us truth." The leaders glared at him, but none dared to silence him. Another leader, her eyes filled with tears, whispered, "If one ship can do this, how many more exist?" The chamber fell colder. The thought echoed in every mind. If one warship could erase an armada, then what could a fleet of such monsters do? Panic grew, pride cracked. Some leaders begged to send peace messages. Others demanded to build weapons faster. A few spoke of surrender. The chamber turned into chaos. Voices rising, chairs breaking, guards drawing weapons. The council was no longer a council. It was a battlefield of fear. Meanwhile, on a hidden channel, spies sent messages to their masters. They spoke of leaders preparing escape routes. They spoke of worlds planning to switch sides. Already the galaxy was breaking before the humans fired a second shot. In the streets of great cities, people lit candles. Some prayed for mercy. Some cursed their leaders. Some swore they would kneel if it meant survival. The galaxy's pride, built over centuries, was dissolving in a single season, and still the warship drifted, its engines glowing like the eye of a god, its silence louder than thunder. Back aboard the ship, the human captain stood calm. He knew what was happening beyond the hull. He knew fear was spreading faster than war. He whispered to his crew, "They are breaking themselves." His crew nodded, their faces hard, their silence steady. In the council chamber, one leader finally shouted above the rest. His voice cracked with rage and despair. "We are no longer rulers of the galaxy. Humanity has taken that from us." His words were truth, and the silence that followed was worse than any scream. The council was shattered, unity was gone, fear ruled now, and the monster warship kept moving, silent and unstoppable. The revelation of humanity. The galaxy waited in fear. The council was broken, the empires divided, the people restless. Yet the monster ship still moved with calm silence. It carried no banners, it sent no demands, only its presence. Then the whispers changed. Scouts, spies, and hidden probes sent back strange data. They saw movements near the edges of human space, giant shapes hidden in nebulae, shadows sleeping in asteroid belts. Some claimed they saw more warships, larger than the first. The galaxy froze. If one monster ship was unstoppable, what would an entire fleet mean? The council tried to keep the truth hidden, but secrets slipped through broken cracks. Merchants carried tales, soldiers whispered in barracks. Ordinary people learned that the humans had not sent their only ship. The monster was not alone, it was a messenger. An old admiral spoke before what remained of the council. His voice was weak but steady. He said, "The humans are not showing us their strength, they are showing us a shadow of it. They are warning us of what lies behind." His words cut through the chamber. No one could deny them. On distant colonies, people trembled. Some swore they saw flashes of engines near their skies. Others claimed to hear deep rumbling in their sleep, as if giant ships moved just beyond sight. Fear turned into belief. The humans were everywhere, unseen, unstoppable. Meanwhile, the monster warship did something new. Its black hull shimmered with strange symbols. Ancient runes, not alien, not unknown, but human. The signals pulsed across space, and translation machines cracked under their weight. At last the words appeared. "We endure." The phrase spread across every channel, it repeated endlessly in every tongue. Every code, every system. People wept, leaders raged, soldiers clenched their fists. Humanity had revealed their soul in a single phrase. They were not conquerors chasing glory. They were survivors who had built monsters so they could live. The revelation spread. The humans had not made one warship for attack. They had made many, because they knew the galaxy was dangerous. They had never trusted the stars to be kind. They had never believed peace would last. They had prepared, and now their preparation had become the galaxy's nightmare. The old historian returned to the council chamber, his eyes tired but fierce. He said, "We thought them reckless, we thought them weak. But humans understand survival in ways we do not. Their scars have built their ships. Their fears have become weapons. Their monsters are the reflection of their pain." Some leaders turned away. Unable to listen, others lowered their heads in silence. Across alien worlds, the people began to question, who were the humans truly? Were they demons wrapped in steel? Or were they simply beings who had suffered and endured until endurance became power? Many could not answer, but all agreed. The humans were not to be taken lightly. On the monster ship itself, the human crew worked in silence. Their eyes tired, their movements precise. They did not act like conquerors. They did not celebrate destruction. They only maintained the ship, repaired its systems, watched the stars. They carried the calm patience of survivors. The captain stood before the great viewing window. His face hard, his voice low, he whispered, "They think this is power. They do not understand. This is necessity." His words were heard only by his crew, but they carried the weight of history. The galaxy finally began to see the truth. Humanity had not sent a monster to frighten. They had sent a survivor's warning. A message carved in steel and shadow. A reminder that those who endure the darkest storms will one day walk unbroken into the light. But the revelation did not bring peace, it brought more fear. For if humanity's monsters were born from survival, then nothing in the galaxy could ever break them. And still the warship moved, silent, endless, a floating terror and a living testament. The galaxy watched, its heart heavy, knowing the revelation had changed everything. Humanity had not asked for permission. Humanity had shown what it was, survivors. And survivors never stop. The choice of the galaxy. The monster warship drifted closer to the heart of the galaxy. Each star it passed seemed dimmer. Each world it neared fell silent. The whispers had grown into storms. People no longer asked if humanity was strong. They asked if resistance was even possible. In the shattered council chamber, the leaders faced their final choice. The room smelled of fear and failure. Some still shouted for war. Their faces red, their voices shaking. "If we surrender, we lose everything," they cried. Others whispered for peace, their shoulders heavy. Their words softer. "If we fight, we lose more than everything." The debate raged. But no unity came. Pride strangled wisdom. Fear silenced courage. Every leader thought of their own world first. Not the galaxy. Alliances broke like glass. Promises shattered before they were spoken. The council was nothing now. Only frightened rulers hiding behind empty words. Meanwhile, in the streets of great cities, the people had already made their choice. Families prayed for peace. Children asked their parents if the humans would burn their homes. Soldiers sat quietly in their barracks, polishing weapons they knew were useless. Some deserted, some refused to fight. The spirit of resistance was weak. The will to survive was stronger. The monster ship gave no answer. It sent no new message. It only moved forward, calm and patient. Its silence forced the galaxy to decide for itself. On one world, crowds filled the streets carrying white banners. They shouted into the sky, "We will not fight you." On another world, soldiers launched missiles into the dark, but their leaders ordered silence after the missiles vanished like dust. Across thousands of colonies, the galaxy fractured between pride and survival. One brave leader stood before her council. Her eyes were tired, but her voice clear. She said, "We cannot defeat what we do not understand. Humanity has shown us monsters, but also shown us truth they will endure. We must choose to endure beside them, not against them." Her words spread, not through command, but through whispers, and the whispers became hope. Still, many resisted. Some rulers could not bow. They sent fleets, weak and desperate, to stand in the monster ship's path. The galaxy watched as those fleets disappeared without sound, erased like shadows under sunlight. The lesson was final. Resistance meant extinction. On the command deck of the human warship, the captain stood silent. His crew waited, watching. They had seen fear, they had seen rage. They had seen the galaxy's pride shatter. But they gave no command. They let the galaxy choose its fate. The captain finally spoke to his crew, his voice calm. "We do not conquer, we do not beg, we endure. Let them decide." His words echoed softly. His eyes never left the stars. And so the galaxy stood at a crossroad. Some chose peace, some chose silence. Some still clung to pride, but all understood one truth. The age of the old council was over. A new age had begun. An age where humanity walked among the stars. Not as guests, not as prey, but as survivors too strong to be broken. The monster ship drifted on, its engines glowing like the heart of a star. It carried no flag, no promise, no threat. Only a truth carved in its presence. Humanity had arrived. humanity would endure and the galaxy, trembling and divided, was left with the final question. Would they endure with humanity or fall against them? The choice was theirs. The silence of the monster warship waited for their answer.